a couple minutes until we're ready to start. I'm going off of Verizon time, so if you want to stop the recording until I give you the thumbs up. No. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first meeting of 2024. Tonight is our first regular city council meeting of the year. Tuesday, January 2nd, we are obviously here in person in City Hall, and we also have our online component. For those joining us online, we have switched to a webinar format versus a Zoom meeting. You will remain as observers, for lack of a better word. And if it comes time for anybody on staff or anybody to make who wants to make a citizen comment at the appropriate time, we will promote you to the participant approvals, and so you'll be able to speak. So to get us started off, we're going to go ahead and start with the invocation given by Councilmember Spencer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we come before thee this evening in gratitude for the opportunity that we have to be here together as members of this beautiful city. We're thankful for the new year and for the hope and possibilities that it brings. And we pray that thou will bless us as we counsel together this evening, that we may make wise decisions, that we can be kind and respectful, and that we can enjoy this time that we have together. And these things we pray for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We will go ahead and start with our roll call. Councilmember Cargill.
Present.
Councilmember Kurtz. Present. Councilmember Van Orman. Here. Councilmember Ball. Here. Councilmember Spencer.
Present.
Councilmember Dunn.
Happy to be here.
Councilmember Kennedy.
Present.
All right. So with that past us, we are going to go on to agenda approval. And until we get Mayor Pro Tem settled, Councilmember Van Orman is going to kind of help out with the agenda. And I do know she has a couple of amendment requests for the agenda. So
thank you so much, Madam Mayor. To make the agenda flow and be a little bit more seamless, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda, move the selection of Mayor Pro Tem up from 11A to 7B just after oaths of office.
okay, do we have any comments, questions on that?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of moving Mayor Pro Tem appointment to 7B, please say aye.
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 All right, any opposed?
Okay. And
All
one
right,
more.
motion passes 7-0. Next one.
For transparency to the public on committee appointments, move consent agenda 10C through J to action items 11A through H. Right. That way we get a chance to actually have transparency and get to know who our new committee members are.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Not hearing any. All in favor of approving moving general business C through J to general business, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Any other requested changes to the agenda? Not hearing any. Do we go ahead and move the agenda? We have a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move the agenda as amended.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Cargill. Any further questions? Not hearing any. All in favor of approving the amended agenda, please say aye.
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 All right, any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. We've got an agenda. All right, so we'll move on to citizen comments. So just a reminder to everybody who's here in council chambers, we have some sheets over by the door. If you'd like to make a citizen comment either now or at the citizen comment at the end of the meeting, please fill that out and get it turned into Kelsey over here at the end of the table, and we will go through and call on you. Anybody online who'd like to make a comment, please send your name to and subject agenda item appropriate agenda item, if it relates to one, to our meeting host, and he will get my attention and we will promote you to participant. Reminder, there's a time limit of 3 minutes. Please keep any discourse civil. There will not be any back and forth with the council. It's just truly your time to comment to the council without any response. If there's something that we need to follow up on, we will make sure we have your information and we'll have staff get back with you. So do we have anybody here? I don't see any yellow sheets. No, do we have anybody online? Okay. Okay, if you could promote her so she can do students to comment, that'd be great.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council, and the honorable citizens and staff. Tonight, the council is going to be making a very important decision. It is the hope of over 12,000 voters, 12,000 members of the community, and over 9,000 voters, that the decision that is made on behalf of the community and is not made in order to show someone who's in charge. We know that there are members on the council that have advised that they will not vote along with anything that the mayor does, anything that the mayor puts forward. And personally, I would hope that the council does not select that individual to serve as the second in line to the mayor. It would be an insult to the community and an insult to all who are leading this community as public servants. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. All right, do we have anybody else online? Okay, all right, just remember that there will be another opportunity for citizen comment at the end of the meeting and before the council votes on our second read ordinance. So moving on, we will go ahead to our announcements, proclamations, and special presentations. I'd like to welcome Judge Leland. He is here to swear 7 of us in tonight. And so we only heard back from a couple people. We're going to try to do this as a group out here in front of the council desks, and then we'll get a picture at the end. So if you guys can all join us up here.
Mayor, City Council, fellow citizens, I'm Judge Leland from the District Court. I'll be doing the oath of office today. I have had the opportunity to review the oath, and as I was driving here from downtown, I came beside some huge flags, and I was thinking on the way here, those are what we are here today. We're here to represent not only the citizens of Liberty Lake, but our fellow Americans. Council member, I thank you for your prayer as well. So I'll go ahead and administer the oath. We'll go ahead and take some photos. I'll be stating that the first part of this is you state your name and then follow me through, okay? So please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear your name, that I'm a citizen of the United States, the state of Washington, and the city of Liberty Lake, that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States, the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington, and the laws of the city of Liberty Lake. and to the best of my judgment, skill, and ability, will truly and faithfully, diligently and impartially perform the duties of my elected office for the city of Liberty Lake, Washington, and such duties prescribed by law. Congratulations, City Council and Mayor.
Can we get one with Jesse?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to say there's only one other time in my life I was in front of a judge, and I must admit that this is much more pleasurable than the last time I was in front of a judge.
All right. I knew we'd lose a few after that.
And I can't think of the last time you'll see 6 members and a mayor sworn in at one time.
Yeah, no
Right.
kidding. Hopefully that'll be the last time that happens again. All right, everybody, we are going to go ahead and move on to what is now agenda item 7B. It's the selection of mayor pro tem. So just a reminder to everybody, mayor pro tem positions responsibility is really to fill in for the mayor when I'm not here or available to do my duties. For example, next meeting, I'll be out of town for work, ribbon cuttings, whatever, and really I like to see a little bit of a confidant to bounce things off of, hold me accountable a little bit. So the process as it has been in the past and is in our council rules of procedure is we take nominations and then we take a vote on nomination and second, as many as there might be. We could have 7, who knows? And then we vote starting with the first person who was nominated. If that person gets 4, the voting is done. If that person does not get 4, then we move to the next person. And for instance, if there are 3, if none of those 3 obviously get 4, then we go back to the people who got the 2 highest votes. So we narrowed it down to 2. So are there any questions about the process? No, is there anything you want to add, Sean?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, and the term is 2 years from tonight, and so we will revisit this again in 2 years. So I guess at this point in time, I will open the floor to nominations. Oh, gosh, 1, 2, 3. Linda,
I would like to nominate Councilwoman Annie Kurtz to be mayor pro tem for 2 years.
okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Give me a second, I'm gonna keep track of all these. All right, Councilmember Spencer was next.
I'd like to nominate Councilmember Cargill as mayor pro tem.
All right.
Second.
We have a second by Councilmember Ian Orman. All right, and since you were next, Wendy, are you? no,
I'm taken care of.
Okay, are there any other nominations from the floor? Okay, not hearing any, we will go ahead and start the vote with Councilmember Kurtz. And we'll just go ahead, what's the best way to do this, Sean? We don't do it often enough. Just everybody call for the vote all at once, or should we just go down?
You can do it either way. I mean, if you
Okay.
want to raise of hands, but you'll start with Annie and then Chris would be second
Okay.
as far as the vote is concerned.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and just go around the dais and then I'll flip flop it if we go to a second one. So, Councilmember Cargill. I guess, well, it's here, I guess we're going for those in favor of voting for Councilmember Kurtz for Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, and then we'll go.
Then
we
we'll,
do the
then we'll
next
do,
one. Okay.
yeah,
No.
Councilmember Kurtz. Just want to make sure you're on board. All right. All right, Councilmember Van Orman,
Nay.
Councilmember Ball,
Yes.
Councilmember Spencer,
Nay.
Councilmember Dunn,
Aye.
and Councilmember Kennedy.
Nay.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3. Okay, those 3 for Councilmember Kurtz. Now we will go and we will take votes for Councilmember Cargill. I'll start over here. Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Dunn,
Nay.
Councilmember Spencer,
Yay.
Councilmember Ball,
Nay.
Councilmember Van Orman,
Yes.
Councilmember Kurtz,
Nay.
Councilmember Cargill.
And the tie-breaking vote. Yay.
All right, we have a new Mayor Pro Tem. If it's okay, I'm gonna forego moving the seats tonight. We'll work on a new seating arrangement for starting next meeting because I want Linda being the newest person here to be able to be between some people with more experience. So if you're okay to stay in there for the meeting, Councilmember Cargill,
Totally fine.
we will go from there. All right. So hope you're ready to make a bunch of motions tonight.
Yes.
All right, so we will move on to reports and inquiries. Moving through fast. So do we have any reports from City Council? Councilmember Dunn.
At the last meeting of the Spokane Transit Authority, outgoing Councilwoman Lori Kinnear said thank yous and goodbyes, and Commissioner Al French will be the chair. Commissioner Al French will be the chair of the Spokane Transit Authority for the coming term. The budget was passed unanimously. And looking forward to Connect 2035. That's a strategic planning objectives for the agency for the coming year.
Great, thank you. Big job. Anybody else with a council report? I know there's been a lot of personal stuff going on for the last couple of weeks, so I'm not expecting a whole lot. All right, we'll move to my report. Again, I'll make it as short as possible. Not many meetings over the last couple of weeks. We do have a couple ribbon cuttings coming up. So next Wednesday, the 10th, there's, and forgive me, I don't have the exact name, but we have a new physical therapy office open across from Boco Pop they're having their ribbon cutting at 3 o'clock on the 10th. So we will be there for that. Les Schwab is actually opening their doors on the 10th as well, but they are going to hold off on their grand opening for better weather, I'm assuming, until April 12th. And we'll make sure we keep those things on everybody's agendas. Like I said, I will be out for a business trip at the next meeting, mandatory for work each year. So I will not be available either by Zoom either at that point. So I'll make sure I get with Councilmember Cargill on logistics for the meeting. And one last thing, a couple people have asked about business cards. So if you're council members coming back and you're running out of cards, let Tate know. If you're newer ones and don't have any, go ahead and let Tate know and she will get cards ordered for you. There's a bit of a time lag there because proofs and all that. And a reminder, if you have an AWC certification, you can get that logo either for a certain CML or advanced CML. That can be put on your card. So just get with Tate. And I think that's all I've got. Is Mark still with us? So as I noted a little bit before, Mark is home sick, but trying to make it through the meeting tonight. And Kyle is out ill as well. So we've got kind of a skeleton crew staff wise. We'll rely heavily on Lisa a little bit later. So is Mark still on?
Yeah, so give me a
Okay, I
thumbs
can't
up if
see
you can
Mark,
hear me.
sorry. Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, good. All right, so what I want to do this evening is just kind of walk you through a brief report. And first of all, I want to welcome everybody back from the holidays. Hopefully you had time to spend with family and friends and neighbors. I want to congratulate all of you that have been sworn in, particularly formally Councilmember Ball, welcome to the dais, and congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Cargill. And as we look at the events and reminders coming up between now and the next meeting, we've got a couple of things just to point out. Today is always kind of a milestone day at City Hall because we have people coming in because our reservation period starts for particularly our community gardens. But for those of you that are interested in reserving park space and gazebos and other things, now's the time to kind of look at the calendar and come in and make those reservations. Tate has reported that we've already had a handful of community gardens reserved. So if you're interested in reserving one of those for the season, come on in and see Tate at the front window. January 8th, which is next Monday, starts the state legislative session for 2024. And I'll remind everybody that this is a 60-day session, so a short session. And we'll be keeping a close eye on things that are going, and the item D will focus specifically on that in just a minute here. Martin Luther King holiday is going to be Monday, January 15th. And so we'll kind of repeat this process in 2 weeks. City Hall and library will be closed in observance of the holiday. And then the 16th will be the next council meeting. And then we've got the GSI fly-in, which is the Greater Spokane Inc. Takes a group of folks over to Olympia. This is a legislative advocacy trip. And so I will be attending that trip and specifically advocating for the City of Liberty Lakes legislative priorities in addition to those that GSI has defined as an organization for the region. And so that's always a beneficial time to kind of talk with lawmakers and other folks around the region to make sure that we're kind of moving in the same direction and supporting one another in the ways that we have identified through our legislative priorities that council passed by resolution a couple of meetings ago. Before I move on to the other items, any questions about those events coming up?
I don't see any.
Okay. Federal EEO reporting. This is really just a milestone. I wanted to bring council, make council aware of this. The report is not actually due until 2025, but because in the 2024 budget, we've hit that magic 100 employee threshold, we will be responsible for reporting for the 2024-2025 biennium. And really what that does, it means that we're required now to collect data related to race, ethnicity, sex, job category, and salary band. And then every December of odd number years, we report those statistics to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission of the federal government. And so we've hit that threshold. And so we'll be bringing you more information in a couple of years on this, but I wanted to give you a heads up that has started. And we will be keeping close eye on that. Any questions about that specifically?
Nope.
Okay, next item. We have entered into a pilot agreement with Inquisio AI, which is a tech company that is in Washington State. And it focuses specifically on providing AI-driven solutions for local government. And so what a pilot agreement means is there's no financial commitment on either side. There's no payment coming our way or no payment going from us to the vendor. We have a 30-day notice opt-out. And essentially what we're doing at this point, now that we have the pilot agreement in place, is we are working with our internal AI working group that consists of about 7 members of city staff to finalize a project plan that we will be using Inquisio AI to help us implement and pilot. And so we don't have the final project plan in place yet, but as soon as we do, and we know what that is and how it is going to impact our customer service delivery, we will bring an update back to council and let everybody know. Any questions there?
No.
And I can't see
No,
the camera,
was
so
looking around the room.
Okay.
It's good.
okay. Next item, last item here. We're now into the strategic doing period. We've gone through the planning, we've adopted the plan, we've adopted the budget. And so now we're in the doing stage. And so one of the things that we've been discussing and that is embedded in the strategic plan that was adopted by council are 13 key results. There are 2 or 3 for each of our priorities. And some of those 13 are surveyable measurements, meaning you have to go out and ask people what they think in order to know what the measure is. And so one of our first initiatives is going to be developing what we're calling a community satisfaction survey. We're working with the Community Engagement Commission to finalize a methodology and go through a plan to distribute, collect, report, and use that first year's data as our baseline. And then we would propose to annually do the same thing for the 5 years of the strategic plan to see how much progress we're making against those key results. So there'll be other things that we'll be bringing to you because, like I said, of the 13 key results, only 6 of them are really measurable by survey. And so that means we're going to have to come up with measurements and reporting mechanisms for the other 7. So we will be briefing you on those as we get deeper into the first quarter. Any questions on that?
I'm not seeing any.
I am, to be honest, proud of myself. I was not quite sure if I was going to make it through that without my voice cracking or coughing profusely or something like that. So thank you for sticking with me, Mayor. That concludes my report.
Thanks, Mark. Hope you're feeling better soon.
Thanks.
Okay, next up, we have Spokane Valley Fire. Hello, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, city staff, and citizens. My name is Zach Bond. I'm a Deputy Chief of Operations for your Spokane Valley Fire Department. And tonight I have the honor of presenting not only the December numbers, but I would argue the most exciting report would be our year-end report. So hold on to your hats here. So starting with the numbers for December, we had a relatively mild December as compared to last year, and I think we can credit the relatively mild weather for that. We had approximate, oh, sorry, Kelsey, do we have that slideshow?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, got ahead of myself. Happy New Year, if I didn't say that already.
Yes.
Thanks. There we go.
There you go.
All right, next slide, please. All right, so month of December 2023, the Spokane Valley Fire Department ran just shy of 2,000 calls for a total of 1,982. That brings us to a total for 2023 of 23,128. And most of us had projected that this was going to be our busiest year ever, surpassing last year, but this relatively slow December didn't quite get us there. I'll show you those numbers on another slide. The graph down below is calls broken down by hazard class or call type. The blue large line you see on the left there is emergency medical services. And 2023, we ran just over 19,000 EMS calls, followed by just shy of 2,000 fire suppression calls. And rounding out the top 3 was just over 1,100 technical rescue. The largest component of that technical rescue would be your motor vehicle accidents. Next slide, please. This is my favorite slide because it showcases the great work that our firefighters are doing all year long. This is the number of unit responses. So essentially how busy our firefighters are. I'll highlight the top 3 busiest units, which would be Valley Engine 7, Engine 1, and Engine 8. So all of those units actually run on average over 3,000 calls a year, which is a busy piece of fire equipment. And the reason Engine 8 didn't make it this year is we put that unit in service in March. So we expect those 3 units to be over that 3,000 call threshold next year. Calling out your fire engine, which would be Valley Engine 3, they ran 164 calls for service in the month of December and finished off 2023 with just shy of 1,900 calls for service. And total, the Valley Fire Department almost made it to 30,000 responses for the year. It's a very busy year. Next slide, please. These graphs show responses by station area, and I'll call out Station 3, which is your Liberty Lake Fire Station, ran 123 calls for service in the month of December, which was 6.21% of our total run volume. And for the year, District 3 here in Liberty Lake ran 1,742 calls for service, about 7.53% of our total call volume for the year. Next slide, please. A little tough to read. The top graph shows 5-year trends for each month. And you can see that in general, we're trending up. Then in December, we dropped down just a little bit from last year. And then showing our total run volume on that bottom graph there, 2022 showed 23,266 runs. And then this year we just beneath that at 23,128. And that's end of report.
Does anybody have any questions?
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, I got one. I
Yes,
just want to give everybody else a chance first. So AMR, how often does that contract come up? And given the amount of EMS volume, have you guys thought about doing something different?
There's an ambulance service board that meets monthly. I am not part of that. That's our other deputy chief who heads our EMS division. So I'm sorry to say I can't answer your question. I don't know. It's definitely something, because it is such a big part of what we do. We're definitely in communication with not only AMR, but the other departments in the county to make sure we're providing the best service.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Liberty Lake Water and Sewer District. Do we have anybody, are any of the commissioners online?
I'm here. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Bill. We
Hi,
can hear you.
Bill Genoway, Sewer and Water Commissioner. Congratulations on all the new city council members and mayor. Our building renovation is complete. So we are in basically what looks like a new facility now. And obviously it's time for that to happen, and it did. So we're happy. The leaf cleanup is done. The area is closed down. It was a very successful process this year. Not many bags. Most people just brought their stuff, dumped their bags, and that really helped us a lot. So thank you, Liberty Lake, for another successful leaf pickup. And with that, that's about all I have. Thanks.
Anybody have any questions? Not seeing any. Thanks for coming, Bill.
Sure.
All right, next up, no workshop discussions. So we'll move on to general business consent agenda, which includes items A, B, K, and L. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, move consent agenda A, B, K, and L.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
And a second by Councilmember Kennedy. All right. Let's see, this is consent agendas, no comment or questions. So all those in favor of approving general business consent agenda items A, B, K, and L, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, now we're up to the fun part. We get to introduce and meet our commissioners that are up for reappointment or appointment. So I think we have all but one here tonight, which is great, and our other one may be online. So we will start off. First, we have Jim Bomker. You want to come to the microphone and just reintroduce yourself? So Jim has been reappointed by me to the Planning Commission. This is what number year for you now?
I think I've been on the commission for about 1.5 years.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
Liberty Lake resident since 2004. And I think coming up in 2024, actually 2025 is the UGA. I think 2024 will be kind of an important year for the Planning Commission to get into the details of the county's UGA. So looking forward to it.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Jim while we've got?
Also on the salary commission, so
Absolutely.
I'll be keeping track of who votes.
No, I just want to thank you, Jim, for your ongoing service and all the amount of time and energy that you give to our city. So thanks.
Okay.
Definitely takes a lot. Anyway, all right, so do we have a motion to confirm the reappointment of Jim Bomker?
I move to go ahead and reappoint Jim Bunker to the Planning Commission.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Councilmember Kennedy. Any questions, comments? Not hearing any. All in favor of reappointing Jim Bomker to the Planning Commission, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. Next up, familiar face, Tom Sahlberg. We are going to make you come up to the podium. So as most of you should know, or maybe you don't, so Tom was on the Planning Commission for how many years? 2 years. Then he was obviously appointed to council, and he graciously put in his application to be back on planning commission, and I'm looking forward to having your past and experience on planning commission and council to around for the comprehensive plan review over the next couple of years. So does anybody have any questions for Tom, or Tom, are you interested in kind of sharing why you want to be back on planning commission besides you like to be involved?
I learned a lot on the council that I think I could apply to the planning commission.
Agreed.
That's great.
Great.
I was going to say, I for one know that you're going to add a lot. So I would like to go ahead and recommend the appointment of Tom Solberg to the planning commission.
Second.
And we have a second from Councilmember Spencer. All right, any comments? All right, not hearing any. All in favor of appointing Tom Solberg as a voting member of the planning commission, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, next up, Eugene Husch, I can never say your last name, Huschel. Yes, close.
Madam Mayor, I think it's easy just to call me Herschel.
Okay.
Always
Throw
did
you a
it.
football?
I'm sorry.
Nothing.
My name is Eugene Huschel. Herschel's a nickname, of course, that has been a moniker for years and years and years now, particularly as I get older. My wife and I, Mary Alice, have lived in Washington since '92. She's a retired principal, was the superintendent of Renton Schools, was Governor Inslee's chief of staff when he was first elected. We've lived in Olympia, Seattle, and now for the last 7 years, Liberty Lake. My background is basically logistics. In the Army, I was an artillery helicopter pilot, and as a financial planner, financial advisor, stockbroker. My focus was basically on infrastructure. I appreciate the opportunity to come here. We went ahead and attended the Citizens Academy. What a spark that was. I really enjoyed that. And then Madam Mayor and I also just coincidentally happened to go to the same university. Of course, probably 50 years difference in between. So thank you, folks.
Does anybody have any questions? for me? No, really, it's really great to see the graduates of our Citizens Academy stepping up and putting their name in for these positions. I think it's a
Absolutely.
great place to get people involved.
That's great.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to confirm the appointment of Mr. Huschel?
Madam Mayor, I move the appointment of Eugene Huschel to the adjunct planning commission role.
Second.
We have a second by Councilmember Kennedy. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 7-0. On to the next. Next, we have Troy Mullenix. Did I screw that up too? Okay.
Welcome
So
back, Troy.
Some of you may or may not remember, depending on how long you've been here. So Troy is a former city employee way back when.
Many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago, under a former mayor, now councilwoman Van Orman. And so he had reached out and wanted to get involved, and the bylaws for the planning commission do allow for a non-voting member outside the city limits, and you're a block and a half away, and have been here for a long time. So I was really happy to have the opportunity to reconnect and interview Troy, and I see him a lot on engaging with the community on things going on, including Sprague and the condition of Sprague down there. So I think he'll get good new voice to our commission. So does anybody have any questions for Troy? Do you want to say anything?
It's nice to see Councilmember Dunn and Van Norman again, as well as you, Chris. Former city employee, so wanting to get back involved as much as I can, have a degree in planning, so.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, great asset to have again with our upcoming comprehensive plan review. All right, no questions? All right, not hearing any. Do we have a motion?
Go ahead.
Move to appoint Troy Mullenix adjunct member of planning commission.
Seconded.
Second by Councilmember Van Orman. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, next up, we have Cynthia, and I don't see Cynthia here. Is Cynthia happen to be on our Zoom meeting? Cynthia Godinez? Oh, okay, all right. So Cynthia has been serving on the Community Engagement Commission for a couple of years now. This is a reappointment. And I think you guys have seen her. She's been here for citizen comment a couple times, so she's been very involved. And look forward to having her continue her work on the Community Engagement Commission. Guys have any questions about her her application that was in the packet? No. All right. Do we have a motion to reappoint Cynthia?
Madam Mayor, motion to reappoint Cynthia Godinez to position 5, community engagement.
Great, thank you. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. Second by Councilmember Ball. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, next, Robin Beckdahl. Robin's a familiar face. She's currently the chair of the Community Engagement Commission, seeking reappointment as well. And I believe she also just became the president of the Friends of the Library. Did I read that correctly?
Correct. They talked me into it. Don't know how.
Well, again, Robin's been a great member of the commission. You know, it's been there since the start and looking forward to some continued work as that commission continues their work. So Robin, do you have anything you want to add?
Like to wish everybody, Madam Mayor and council members, congratulations, Happy New Year's. It's always nice to work with you. We look forward to working with you also in the future. And we're always, we will always try, at least, hopefully, as long as I'm on the engagement committee, to get good transparency and good comments from the community to help you to make effective decisions.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Robin?
Thank you for your continuing service.
And I'm very much looking forward to the there at the farmer's market.
All the displays. Those are always a very big topic at our meetings and how we can engage and get people, since that's our main events, and how we can get more people to come up there and what we can do, and displays is one of those, I think, interactive exercises that people enjoy.
Great. All right.
And keep it going. I'd like to have a confirmation for Robin Beckdahl for position number 9.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
And second one, Councilmember Cargill, Mayor Pro Tem Cargill. Give me a little bit to get that under my belt. Any questions? Not hearing you.
Just to clarify, I think she,
Oh.
position 1.
Position one.
Position 1.
Yes.
My apology. Position 1.
Sorry,
I put you in.
I didn't catch that. Thank you.
That's fine.
all right, corrected. All right, so all those in favor of confirming Robin Beckdahl's reappointment to position 1 for community engagement, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, next up, Mark Saba. Come on up. Another one who requires no introduction. Well, Mark is one of our first members of the Community Engagement Commission as well. Done a great job. Thank you for all your work helping out the farmers market as well when there's not an Eagles game to go prep for.
Absolutely.
So yeah, again, looking forward to having Mark continue his role. Always a very good contributing member of any commission he's on. So does anybody have any questions or do you have any comments, Mark?
Yeah, I just got to say a couple things. It's pretty exciting to be on the grassroots of a commission like we have been, Robin, myself, and everyone else who's on the commission now. Watching it develop, stumbled through some things, but picked ourselves up, brushed ourselves off, and it's like we always said, there was never a mistake. Because we were all new to this. So we're getting better every time we meet, and I'm excited to proceed on for the next 2-4 years. I don't know how long I'm on for. So, but whatever. Council people, Mayor, I'm also like Jim. I'm on the Salary Commission also. Just to let you know. That's it. So yeah, I just hope that I get elected back. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mark before he walks away? All right, not hearing any. Do we have a motion to reappoint Mark Saba?
Move to reappoint Mark Saba to position 9, community engagement.
Awesome. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Second by Councilmember Ball. All right, those in favor of confirming the appointment of Mark Saba, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, motion carries 7-0. Last but not least is another familiar face to some people. Arlene, we'll let you introduce yourself and share with those who may not know you, your past association with the city.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, and good to see you, Sean. It's been a long time. Hopefully I've changed, you've changed for the better. I retired after a 43-year public service career. And we came home. There was no other place where Rich and I were going to leave but home. And for those of you who don't know me, I had the pleasure with Brian Asmus, Doug Smith, Wendy. There's a couple of other originals in here. And we incorporated the city of Liberty Lake. And it was a lot of hours. Wendy, you can attest, we went to midnight, 1 a.m. and the next morning I had to be at work at 8. But we did it. And I'm so proud of this. I'm sorry, I get emotional. I'm so proud of the city that I've come home to, because it's not very often a city manager, I did that for 23 years, can come back to her own original city and participate as a citizen. It's kind of cool being on this side of the table, you guys. I really like that. So anyway, thank you all so much. I will work hard on this commission. I've already seen some of my colleagues in here. My best sidekick in the world came back with me, hubby Rich. We live in Tutina and we love it. So thank you all. It's been a great homecoming.
Well, we appreciate you stepping up. It was great running into you this summer at the farmer's market with Rotary. Mark and I were there, and we, after looking at the Community Engagement Commission, I think we had somebody assigned wrong. So it turns out we had an opening for the Tritina area, because we're kind of segmented for community engagement, and talked to Arlene a bit, and really excited about some of the ideas and experiences she has from other cities to bring to us, and some ideas, so we don't have to recreate the wheel on some of our activities going forward. Anybody have any questions for Arlene?
Not a question, just a statement, if I may, is that I'm really excited to see Arlene on here. I really, really am. I think back when Betty and I moved back into Liberty Lake, and we lived just outside on Sprague on it, and I had a question with the city, and I stumbled into here. She came out, she answered my question. She realized I didn't live within the confine of the city, outside, and yet she was very attentive and answered my questions. Then you followed up with a phone call to make sure that I was satisfied with the answer. I was so impressed with that, and many years later, I'm excited to see you still in there. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, well, do we have a motion to confirm Arlene Fisher's appointment?
I move to confirm Arlene Fisher, Mauer.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Not hearing any. All those in favor of confirming the appointment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, we are through consent agenda and general business. So we move now to,
Question?
yes.
If I may ask a question, this is really great to see is how many individuals have come forward, been involved before. Where are we with any of these committees where there's still openings?
I'm trying to think. I think we still have a couple more background checks to go. We have 2 interviews tomorrow we have one more voting spot on Planning Commission. We have two good interviews tomorrow for that. So hopefully you will see who we choose from that. Probably not at the next meeting, because we still have to do background checks and whatnot. So probably the first meeting in February. We'll
Probably
see.
be one of the most recent times we've had a full schedule with all of our committees.
Yeah, it's
That's exciting.
fantastic. Yeah.
Because in years past, sometimes it's very difficult to get people to come forward and volunteer.
Yeah.
So I think that's very good. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And it's been really nice for our new appointees. Most of them have had the opportunity to attend a meeting for the commission that they've been appointed to, but not yet confirmed, to kind of make sure they know what they're getting into. So really happy for everybody's participation. And, hey, the more we can promote our city academy, I think the more interested and more very involved people will be getting for our committees. Okay, moving on, we are up to council comments. Is there anything additional council would like to comment on, save for future workshops? Because we've got that at a different item. Anybody? All right, not hearing any. We don't have any public hearings or appeals. We don't have any resolutions. We are up to second read of ordinance 301. I'm assuming Lisa is on somewhere to walk us through this when we're ready. Yeah, go ahead, Kelsey.
Ordinance number 301, an ordinance of the City of Liberty Lake, Washington, amending the City of Liberty Lake Development Code and the Development Code contained in the River District Specific Area Plan.
Is Lisa Key on?
I
There
am.
you are. We can hear
Yes.
you now.
Yes, so this is the ordinance that, you have approved that was related to, the, utility local distribution facilities as a limited use. And it also included, the fencing standards for public utilities and essential public utilities and facilities. And so it's been through the whole process. We've had hearings with the Planning Commission. You've had your hearings, and based upon your deliberations, this is the ordinance. The first read was done in December. And this again is reflective of some staff initiated amendments.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Does anybody have any questions? I know, Linda, you have been in the audience for these, so we appreciate you being available for those. So you're up to speed for this. Does anybody else have any questions for Lisa before I move to public comment? Doesn't sound like it. All right. So since this is a second read ordinance, we do allow for public comment. So if there's anybody in the room or anybody online who'd like to make a public comment on this ordinance, second read ordinance specifically, please let Kelsey know with your half sheet of paper, or send a note if you're online to our meeting manager in the chat, or raise your hand and he will promote you to a participant. And pause a moment here and see if there's anybody online, because it doesn't look like we have anybody in the audience. No. Okay. All right. So we don't have any public comments. Are there any other further comments or questions from the council before we take a motion and a vote? Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance number 301?
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance number 301.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a second from Councilmember Kennedy. All right. Any further questions? Like, give everybody an opportunity. All right. So not hearing any other questions or comments. Those in favor of approving ordinance number 301, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Looks like we have a passed motion 7-0. Next up, we have a first read ordinance number 302. Kelsey?
Ordinance number 302, an ordinance of the City of Liberty Lake, Washington, amending the City of Liberty Lake Municipal Code, the City of Liberty Lake Development Code, and the Development Code contained in the River District Specific Area Plan, repealing Liberty Lake Municipal Code sections 8, 1A, 4.
Okay. All right, first read. We really don't have anything on this unless you guys have a question for Lisa while we have her. All right, not hearing any, so we will see the second read on this come back at the next meeting for a vote. Okay, wow. Emergency ordinances, we don't have any. Introduction of upcoming agenda items. You guys have the most up-to-date list here. We don't really have any dates on any of these. So if you guys, we can take a quick look. Do we have it to maybe put on the screen or no? No concern if we don't stress about it. So we've got the items we have on here are discussion on transparency. Councilmember Cargill, Mayor Pro Tem Cargill, you had that on your list. Do you have any ideas of when you might want to tackle that?
I know Mark and Sean were discussing different recommendations, so I'm fine waiting unless we're ready on their end and we can proceed.
Let me talk to Mark after he feels better, and then we'll maybe pick a date for that.
Okay. All right. And next on, we had the Code of Ethics, Social Media. I know Annie or Councilmember Kurtz, you were working on that as well. Do you have any thoughts about dates or timeframe?
Mark, we had talked about sometime in January.
Okay.
So depending on how he's feeling and where he's at with that, I haven't spoken with him since mid-December about it. But,
Okay.
I would like to get moving on it.
Okay. So we'll, if we'll have Mark follow up with you on that and see if it's possible to do that on the next meeting in January or maybe the first meeting in February. With illnesses and stuff, I know people coming back from holiday. I don't want to rush it either. All right, flock safety workshop, that had Mayor Pro Tem Folier's name on it. I don't know if this is still something that we want to discuss.
If I remember correctly, I think it was about, specifically about the HOAs.
Yeah. Is there any, I guess I'll just kind of look around the dais. Is there any desire to do a workshop on this, or do we take it off?
Could you repeat it again?
So there's some discussion, Councilmember Kennedy, about possibly helping provide the flock safety camera systems to some of the HOAs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I think we had a brief discussion on it. It sounded like the council at that time wasn't in favor of subsidizing that, but maybe, providing information to the HOAs on how they could implement that. So it's still been on our open workshop. So I guess I'm looking to you guys. It's your agenda. If we don't have people who want to bring this back for discussion, then we can just take it off of future workshops. Go
My
ahead.
understanding was also that there was a concern, I think, that Mark had expressed regarding whether we could even, if we wanted to do that, whether we could do that and put the cameras in certain HOAs.
Yeah.
That each one, of course, had different restrictions
Yeah.
on what we could and couldn't do.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
I also
Oh,
think
Doug.
that Chief Simmons gave a very specific best practice opinion
Mhm.
regarding these cameras and what can and cannot be provided to public record.
Okay. Well, why don't we do this? Let me have, Mark and Chief Simmons just give a brief update on it, just to bring it back home at the next meeting. And then, at that time, if you guys decide you want to have further discussion, we can move the workshop, forward in a future date. If not, then we can take it off. Any objections?
None.
Okay. Review of library funding. I know we have this on there for the first quarter. Again, Mark and Kyle are under the weather, so let's review this again when they're both back in the office, and see when Kyle can have some of those options to present to everybody, to see what that is going to look like and what the options are on any potential changes to the wording in the ordinance. So we still have that on track for this quarter. Commission appointment process, Councilmember Cargill, your name was on this one.
Yeah, I think this was originally a Mayor Pro Tem Foyer one that I took in the last meeting. So I think it should stay on. I just don't know that it's urgent.
Okay. Let's leave it
So we could move
TBD.
February or March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. City council committees, Councilmember Dunn, your name was on this with the TBD.
Second meeting in February.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. If you can then do follow up with me, and then we'll just make sure we understand what to prepare for. North side of River. Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, this was another one that I need to review my notes on. It was following the comments that a citizen had made. I think it was first of last year, actually. So I will go back and look at that and.
Great. And Councilmember Spencer, you had the policy oversight that popped up kind of at the end of last year. What kind of timing are you looking for on that?
Well, I mean, I think it's just something that we need to start looking perhaps, one department at a time, or, I'm not sure the best way to tackle that one.
So I think, and again, this is something that Mark and I have our meeting this Friday. He and I go through it. We may just go ahead and start off with maybe a short workshop, kind of just outlining in more detail what Councilmember Kurtz had, showing what policies drive each department, to make that a little bit more clear, and then we can maybe decide on something more robust. Okay. And then proclamation guidelines, that's mine, no urgency. It's just something I want the council to consider, because sometimes we get requests for proclamations that it might not be something that the council wants to even entertain. But I'm kind of I've been kind of the gatekeeper as such. You know, I ran some by Councilmember Follier over the last couple of years, but I think if we have some maybe guidelines of what kind of things we want to support through proclamation and things that we don't. So I'll come up with some, let's just push that second quarter. I don't think it's anything urgent. Okay, is there anything anybody would like to add to the upcoming workshops that I've?
Yes, Madam Mayor, if I may. I would like to propose for further discussion at a later date. We have HOAs in the city that the police does not patrol through there because they are HOAs. And that has come up quite a few times in the past where residents of HOAs look at that and say, they ask the question, why not? So I know that the chief has given us a report at one time. And so I would just like to add that to the list that we could have a workshop on that.
Okay. Yeah, I think the biggest challenge are the ones that are gated. I know we've got the MOU with Legacy Ridge.
Right.
But I'm not aware of MOUs with any of the other gated communities. So we will put that on there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
One more that I'd like to add, and it may be a pretty giant lift, is a comprehensive review of all the ordinances in the city. When I was going through some of them again at the end of last year, I noticed that there were several of them that we're not following simply because we have changed the way we put out paychecks, and we've changed who we're banking with and all these different things. So I think it'd be good to kind of do a cleanup of the ordinances and major policies that we have.
And I know we tried to tackle that a couple times and then things get in the way. Sometimes it's hard to make our way through what's on our website. So Kelsey, can you take the action over the next, well, we'll talk about timeline, but to maybe just give us all a list of the ordinances that are in place, because if you look at our website, sometimes you can't tell if they're still in place or not, or if they were rescinded. I think there's a better place for us to look, but it's not easy to navigate.
Yeah.
And we can just start there.
Yeah. And we could literally go through it one section at a time for the next 10 years if we want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Councilmember Dunn, I think you had your hand up? No? Anybody else? All right, sounds like we have some additional workshops to add. Now we are back up to citizen comments real quick. If there's anybody here, we have Mr. Baumker would like to make a citizen comment. And in the meantime, while he is at the podium, if there's anybody online who'd like to make a citizen comment on any topic, please raise your hand or send a note to our meeting manager.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thanks. I recall last year a conversation on those cameras. What was it called? Flock?
Flock safety, yes.
Yeah, you know, we have an HOA and it's very hilly. We have vehicles, mostly now golf carts. It used to be no big deal, but the golf carts now go 25, 30 miles an hour and they're flying down those hills. And I'm afraid there's going to be an accident. Somebody's going to get hurt because our HOA roads just weren't designed to accommodate what's happening there. And so I think, you know, when you talk about it, I think maybe HOAs would be willing to fund having a camera placed in a strategic location than just having signs saying that, I don't know, whatever you want to say, something like you're being recorded or something like that. Maybe get some people to start slowing down. But anyway.
Yep. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your comment. Thank
Yep.
you. All right, is there anybody online who's noted that they want to speak up? Okay, we have nobody online. All right, so we don't have an executive session. And if there's no objection or no further business, we will go ahead and adjourn for tonight. We did pretty good for the first meeting of the year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
You missed it by 3 minutes.
I know.